thought for the day. The idea that something is holding you back is, in itself, a limiting belief in your own abilities and greatness. Welcome to 7 Minutes for Yourself. I'm Christina Aina, and I'm so glad you've joined me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. Let's take this time to reconnect with ourselves and improve our well-being. In today's episode of 7 Minutes for Yourself, we are discovering how to overcome limiting beliefs by identifying them and then using some simple and effective techniques to replace them. Have a listen.
We are a product of our beliefs. Everything flows from your belief system, how you perceive the world, who you think you are, what you think you can or cannot do, what you believe is possible or impossible. In each of our minds, we experience our own version of reality, a reality that is filtered by our own beliefs. What do we do then when our beliefs limit us, when they hold us back from accessing our full potential? How then are we able to change those beliefs and overcome them? And today I'm super excited to share this new exercise on how to overcome your limiting beliefs. So if you have any negative thought patterns or negative habits, negative cycles that you find yourself going into that are holding you back, this is an exercise to help you get to the root of that problem, that belief that you have deep down, and start to change that belief and overcome that belief so that you're not held back by that negative pattern anymore. So this is something that I started doing for myself, and it's been incredibly powerful in a short amount of time. So there's the exercise, and then there's the follow-up strategies or techniques that you do after you finish the exercise, and I'll share that all today. So the first step of this exercise is to start to become aware of those negative habits. What are those negative patterns? What are these negative things that are holding you back? For example, you find yourself going down the rabbit hole on social media where you spend too much time scrolling, or you find yourself comparing yourself to other people too often. Just think of the things that you do that are patterns that bring out a negative emotion in you. What triggers your anxiety? What triggers stress? What triggers frustration? What triggers anger? Start to make a list of all the things that you do that kind of trigger these negative emotions. And that's the first step, is to have this list. Essentially, it's a list of negative patterns, things that you are continually doing in your life that are not serving you, that are holding you back, things that you hopefully want to change. The next step is going into this worksheet or this template, which are basically questions that will help you get to the root of this pattern. What is the limiting belief that is underlying this pattern? And then, how do you resolve that and create a new belief? The first question is, what is holding me back? You would then go into detail of what it is that's holding you back. Like, for example, I find myself scrolling on social media too long. I turn to social media when I procrastinate, and it always ends up like I'm scrolling on TikTok for 2 hours or longer, and then I feel bad about it, and then blah, 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 blah. Just go into detail about what it is that you do that you feel is holding you back. The second question is, what is the underlying belief causing this behavior? So this is where you're going to have to dig deep and get honest with yourself and ask, what must be the belief that is making me act this way? For example, with procrastination, as I was analyzing why I turn to social media to procrastinate and go down a rabbit hole sometimes, is the underlying belief is I'm running away from what is hard. I'm choosing to do what is easy versus what is hard. The next question is to ask yourself, why am I like this? Where did this come from? And this is going even deeper, because this is where you're gonna dig into your childhood and try to think of like the first memory or the first experience that might have caused you to have this belief. And you might find that the first answer that comes up isn't the most deep answer. So whatever comes up, ask yourself, okay, why? And then do the 7 layers of why. Like, continue asking why, until you feel like you got to a really good reason, like, oh, this is why I'm like this. This is where it must have come from. This requires going back into like early memories and things like that. The next question then is, what is the new belief that I want to adopt? So this is where you take your limiting belief, that underlying limiting belief that you came up with, and you turn it on its head and you kind of write the opposite of it. For example, if the limiting belief is, I fear what's difficult or hard and so I avoid it, the new belief would be, I can handle anything that's difficult or challenging. I can confidently handle any challenging task because I have the tools. Or I welcome challenges, I embrace challenges because I know they help me grow. So feel free to write down a few different versions of what could be the new belief, and there will be one that sticks out to you that you're like, that's the one. That's the one that I want to instill in this new identity with this new belief.
That concludes today's episode of 7 Minutes for Yourself. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Today and every day with your kiddo is a gift. Enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in.